Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Rihanna, and here on Reread It, I review, discuss, and summarize books that I have read and let you guys know if it's worth a reread or not. Today's video is on this book here. This is The Empath Experience by Sydney Campos. This was a book that I actually just stumbled across while in Barnes & Noble. It was sitting on the shelf and sort of just stuck out to me, so I decided to go ahead and give it a try. I'm definitely glad that I did because this book has a lot of great information for people that are considered empathic or highly sensitive and in tune with their emotions. If you are one of those people, then this would be a great book for you to read. It's only 220 pages, but it reads very smoothly, so you can kind of flow through it quickly. The only thing that might slow you down a little bit is the exercises that she includes at the end of the chapters. However, I don't recommend skipping them, so be sure to take your time and do those exercises that she provides. All right, let's get into the summary. Sydney starts off this book with an introductory page that explains how to use this book and the tools in it to live your best life as an empathetic person. She provides a few rules as well, such as identify instead of compare with the experiences that she shares, take what you need and leave the rest, be confident, take care of yourself, and last, make a list of all the things in your life that feel draining to you. Following these 2 pages of introduction and rules, she gets right into chapter 1, which is titled Empaths 101. So this is where she describes to you what exactly an empath is and the different types of empaths. So the types of empaths that she lists are emotional, physical, animal, global, and earth. Throughout the chapter, she provides sections called Empath Experiences, where other people give their testimonials on how the information she gave them helped improve their lives. And as I also said in the beginning of the video, she does provide exercises at the end of each chapter. You should do these to ensure that you get the most out of the book and to begin practicing what she is teaching you. So for empaths, or at least for myself, I'll say, there's always a lot of negative talk around being too sensitive or too emotional. And that can really hinder our self-esteem. However, in this book, Sydney tells you why those statements just aren't true and how being an empath is actually a gift. I really like that she does her best to empower and encourage the reader throughout this book with uplifting words. She explains how we can utilize our gifts to live a completely different life than what we're used to. For empaths, we tend to put ourselves on the bottom of our list when we should be putting ourselves at the top. And in this book, Sydney teaches you how to do that and also why it is important to do so. She teaches us the difference between the gift of service and servitude. As empaths, we often learn to be in servitude rather than to be of service. So how can we tell the difference? I'll go ahead and post the chart from the book that she provides that can help you distinguish between what being of service is and what being in servitude is. The next most important thing that Sydney gets into is creating healthy boundaries. For empathic people, boundaries are usually a very common issue amongst all of them. Empathic people often attract what are referred to as energy vampires. Now, you may have heard of this term before, but for those of you that have not, an energy vampire are typically people that are suffering and go to empathic people for refuge and support. I know for myself, this was a big struggle that I had before reading this book, was creating healthy boundaries and also not attracting and entertaining the energy vampires around me. A big part of warding off the energy vampires she talks about is using our intuition. There are a few different types of intuition that she mentions, and I'll go ahead and list those on the screen for you. But by using our intuition, we can ward off these energy vampires and protect our emotional energy. It is very rare for our intuition to lead us wrong, and as empathic people, the more we listen to it, the better off we will be. Another fairly common issue with empathic people is low self-esteem or low self-worth. So Sydney actually dedicates a whole chapter on learning to love and trust yourself through practicing self-care. Self-care is often a place where empathic people lack because, as I said earlier, we tend to put others before ourselves and put ourselves last on our list. So in chapter 3, she goes into detail on how to practice self-care and some things that you can try implementing in your routine. Since empathic people tend to pick up on the emotions of others, you may notice things happening like when others around you are happy, you're happy. When others around you are sad, you're sad. But that is because you are subconsciously absorbing their energy and not protecting your own. So not all of the things that we feel and experience are always our own feelings and emotions. And that is why Sydney elaborates so much on how important it is to protect our energy, especially when we're in social settings. So she lists out several different things that you can try or implement into your life to work on practicing self-care and protecting your energy. An important one in today's society would be to take a technology detox, and that would be staying off of social media. Social media can become a very toxic place where we don't even realize that we're absorbing so much just by scrolling down the page. Another one that she recommends is to come up with ways to nourish yourself. This can look different for everyone, but a few of the things that she lists are going outdoors in nature, journaling, writing, dancing, yoga, etc. So in the final chapter, Sydney goes more in depth on what she implemented into her own life and what worked for her. So one of the main ones that stood out for me that she listed in this chapter was choosing your commitments wisely. She also mentions how important it is to detox our lives in all areas. A lot of times we hear all these different detoxes to do for our bodies, but it's also important that we detox our relationships, our commitments, or even things that we use as an escape, which for her was alcohol. By cutting out all of the toxicity in our lives, we're able to fully commit to working on ourselves and protecting our own energy instead of giving it all away to other things in our life. Lastly, she discusses how to continue on the journey of life as an empath, and she has some great recommendations for this, like going to workshops or retreats, finding a life coach, and investing in yourself. She also ends the book off with some very empowering words in hopes that it will ignite a fire in you to start on your journey or to keep you going when you're having a hard time on it. Okay, let's get into my favorite parts of the book. So one of my favorite things is, of course, as I mentioned earlier, she provides exercises throughout the book. I think this is a great addition to the book because it allows you to practice what you're learning as you're going through the book. And of course, when we learn things and actually implement them, they stick a lot better for us. My second favorite thing about this book would be that she uses very common words and terminology, and it feels almost like you're just talking with a friend. She uses a very relaxed tone, and although she's teaching you a lot, it's almost as if you're learning from a friend or an equal instead of like a teacher-student. Okay guys, I'm gonna go ahead and read you some pieces from the book. Of course, I picked them out ahead of time, and I'm gonna go ahead and read them to you off of my laptop here. Okay, starting with the first one. The empath experience is not to be confused with feelings of compassion or empathy. Every living being is to some extent empathic, but certain beings experience this condition more strongly than others, and as such may identify as empaths outright. If you are an empath, you will experience the pain, suffering, emotions, and/or physical sensations from other beings as though it is your own. You may also feel hopefulness or a desire to help other beings. This is from page 22. So if you are somebody that notices that you are more in tune with your emotions or highly sensitive, then this may resonate with you a lot. Moving on to the next one. If you've spent a lot of time determining your value based on your outside circumstances, such as your job, your looks, your success, your bank account, your friends, etc., and what other people think of you, it's time to start rewiring your experience so you can enjoy the gift of a deeper sense of fulfillment that's only possible when your unique value is truly sourced from within. Page 53. So this is a great example of how I mentioned she empowers you throughout the book to find your own self-worth and improve your self-esteem. Okay, and the last one here. Protect yourself before you wreck yourself. As an empath, you're probably not a stranger to feeling like you've had your energy completely drained. Maybe it's happened after hanging out with a needy friend or family member who couldn't stop telling you about his latest drama, spending a night out in a crowded restaurant or bar where the energy was chaotic or uneasy, seeing something horrific on the news, witnessing a difficult situation in person, like someone homeless struggling on the street for their next meal, or learning in depth about real-time statistics of animal endangerment and environmental destruction. Page 167. I like that she provided these examples in this section because prior to reading this book, I didn't realize just how much all of these things actually did affect me without me noticing. Now that I'm aware of it, I am much more aware of what I give my energy to, what I take in through social media, through the news, through my environment, and I'm able to remove myself from a lot of situations that aren't helping me. Okay, you guys, that is it for today's review video. I really hope you enjoyed it. Overall, I would give The Empath Experience by Sydney Campos a 10 out of 10. I thought this was a great book and it was very helpful. The information in it was amazing and you can really utilize all of the things that she teaches you in your day-to-day life. So I will definitely reread this book again. Also, don't forget, if you have any book recommendations for me, please leave them in the comment section down below. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button before you leave, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!